Welcome back to part 2 in this series where I'm taking you on a tour of Greater Manchester and the surrounding counties, looking at the secrets behind community radio stations. Community radio stations are unique, truly local radio stations that so far have managed to evade amalgamation with the big corporations. Like in episode 1, we won't be covering stations that are now part of Heart, Capital and Greatest Hits and the like. The main focus of this series is of course the infrastructure behind the stations, mainly the transmitter sites and the various studio to transmitter links that are employed, more of which I'll discuss soon. We begin our journey today in Bollington in Cheshire, just north of the town of Macclesfield, at the home of Canalside Radio on 102.8 FM. The station has been broadcasting to the North East Cheshire area since 2005 from its studios at Clarence Mill in Bollington. Canalside's first broadcast was initially online in November 2004 as part of a trial to test the waters. The month-long trial was a success and led to their first FM trial for a month in May 2005. The station was on the air again in December 2005 and 2006, and with the support of the local community, it was awarded a full-time FM licence in 2008 and started broadcasting on the 8th of December. Canalside was founded by a team of volunteers from Macclesfield and Bollington, spearheaded by Nick Wright, who was well known for his work on Macclesfield Silk FM. Canalside Community Radio is classed as a not-for-profit organisation and also operates a youth training project called Phase 1, which is a registered charity. The station only operates with the financial support of local businesses, which sponsor it in return for publicity on air. The studio sits on the edge of the canal in Bollington, and the first thing to note is this brilliant Fiat Ducato van, kitted out with Canalside radio signage. Judging by the tow bar on the front, I'm guessing it doesn't drive anymore, but it's still really cool to see. The studio is located on the ground floor of Clarence Mill, and what's unusual compared to the stations in the previous series is the lack of studio to transmitter link. This is because the transmitter site is located in-house. Moving to the roof of the mill, you can see an array, which consists of what looks like a Lindenblad L-Blad 600 array of 45-degree slanted band 2 dipoles. They're commonly used in FM radio setups and can radiate up to 600 watts. Each section is fed in phase from a machine-powered splitter to achieve an omnidirectional mixed polarization array. The output from here is just 25 watts, but the coverage area is pretty decent considering its relatively low elevation within the local terrain. The mill is 153 metres above sea level, and the antenna is just 34 metres above the ground. The folded dipole below may serve as a backup transmit aerial, but I can't be certain. Now we'll head just a couple of miles to the south into Macclesfield and take a look at Silk FM. Silk FM launched on the 25th of May 1998. It was owned by the local radio company before being sold to the owners of D106.3 in June 2009. In November 2012, the station was granted a significant transmitter power increase, partly to combat co-channel interference from the Heart North and Mid Wales transmitter at the Moley Park transmitting station, also broadcasting on 106.9 FM. On May 25, 2023, Silk celebrated its 25th anniversary by launching on DAB on the South Cheshire Multiplex. The transmitter is located on the roof of South Cheshire College. In January 2017, the station moved into a new studio complex at Adelaide House on Adelaide Street in Macclesfield. The premises is full of great Silk FM signage, and I was sad to see the absence of the outside broadcast van with its Silk FM livery. On the roof is the bit we're really interested in, and that's the L-band shrouded Yagi, commonly used for studio to transmitter links between 1 and 2 GHz. The output from the studio is being sent to the transmitter site from this Yagi, but as I started to investigate, I realised it wasn't just a straightforward point-to-point link. From the air it's clear to see that the Yagi doesn't point towards the transmitter site over at Sutton Common BT Tower, 4 miles to the south. Instead, it points northeast, 0.3 miles to the top of this block of flats. After spending some time looking through the numerous point-to-point links that are up here, I noticed this grey panel on the wall, which is definitely the reciprocal antenna to the Yagi down at Adelaide House. The real mystery is which link is pointing to Croker Hill transmitter site, 4.3 miles away to the south. I couldn't see anything that pointed in that direction, so if anybody watching this knows more, then let me know. Now let's head to the transmitter site at Sutton Common BT Tower. This tower was built from reinforced concrete and formed part of the 1950s backbone microwave network that was designed to keep vital communication links in place in the event of a nuclear attack. I'll leave a video on this site in the description below. This location offers a line of sight across the Cheshire Plain, meaning the signal can be heard in Lancashire, Shropshire, Staffordshire, Derbyshire, Greater Manchester and Merseyside. Silk FM's transmitter is 150 watts, which is quite a lot when the antenna sits 70 metres up the tower and the whole site is 401 metres above sea level. I don't believe this simulated coverage map is accurate, as I've heard the station far beyond this alleged footprint. This is the transmit antenna, a pair of phase slanted dipoles. Now we'll head north to the town of Stockport to this cluster of tower blocks to see if we can find Your FM Stockport on 107.8. Your FM is a community radio station broadcasting in Stockport, Greater Manchester, and you may remember it as Pure 107.8. Your FM operates under the same licence as Pure did. Pure 107.8 launched on the 13th of September 2006 after a series of restricted service licence broadcasts under the name Pure Radio. It was part of Pure Innovations, a not-for-profit organisation that employed people from disadvantaged backgrounds to build the skills and confidence to get back into employment. Pure covered local news and events in the Stockport area and provided live commentary of every Stockport County match, both home and away, until August 2017, when the rights reverted to Imagine FM. Pure was originally based in Cheadle Heath, just up the road. This is the site of the former studio, and on the adjacent chimney stack you can see the original transmit aerial. In February 2017, it was reported that the station faced closure, as Pure Innovations no longer had the finances to support the project. In September 2017, the community radio licence for Stockport transferred to a new group, and the station was relaunched in November as Your FM. Looking at Ratcliffe Towers, you can see this vertical antenna, which is the transmit antenna for Your FM. Further down the pole is what looks like a Ubiquiti studio to transmitter link panel. Your FM outputs 25 watts from here, and the coverage is quite good from the top of this block. In the background, you can see the stack of dipoles for Greatest Hits Radio. Interestingly, at the other end of the roof is this shrouded log periodic, which was the old studio to transmitter link that points down towards the old studio in Cheadle Heath. Looking at the adjacent Millbrook Tower, I couldn't see any reciprocal studio to transmitter link panel, but these things can be small and quite well concealed sometimes. Down at ground level is the Your FM studio at the base of Millbrook Tower. There were no signs of life, but the station was on the air and sounding great. Now we'll head north into Rochdale, a town north of Manchester, to the home of Crescent Community Radio on 97 FM, a grassroots community organisation. The station came on the air in December 1999, regularly broadcasting during Ramadan on a restricted service licence, and has grown since then. Full-time live broadcasting began on Friday the 22nd of September 2006, after Crescent was awarded a full-time 5-year community licence by Ofcom in September 2005. Station output is in different community languages, with an estimated reach of around 4,500 regular listeners in the Rochdale area. Although having had a regular frequency in the past, Crescent Community Radio was allocated 97 FM by Ofcom. The frequency is close to numerous larger commercial and BBC stations, but the transmitter site is 143 metres above sea level and the antenna 14 metres above the ground, so the station manages to cover a good 5-kilometre radius from the centre of Rochdale. Like some of the other sites we've visited in this series, Crescent uses a Lindenblad L-Blad 600 array of 45-degree slanted band 2 dipoles. The station outputs 25 watts. Because the studio is located at the transmitter site, there's no studio to transmitter link to cover, and I couldn't see any sign of a studio or any Crescent Community Radio branding on the building, which seems to be predominantly home to a nursery. So with that, I'll leave you in Rochdale, but be sure to join me next time as we head to the heart of Manchester and look at some more community radio stations. If you missed episode 1, I'll link it in the description below.